Let's get to our weekly SOS house call. Dr. Todd Battaglia joining us. Dr. Todd, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're good. So let's jump right in. And generally when we hear the term day to day with an injury, we kind of I think assume that the player is going to come back any day, right? Day to day. Is that in your experience? Is that actually what that term means, or is that just kind of an overgeneralization?
I would say it can kind of go one of two ways. Sometimes it is truly day to day. If a guy's got a low-grade sprain or bruise or something where it's just a matter of he can get back to play whenever he feels okay, and we don't quite know when that's going to happen. But sometimes day-to-day is used strategically when you don't really want to share that someone's got a serious injury, or you don't want to let the opponent know, and it's technically day to day, but realistically it may be month to month or longer than that. So I don't think you can make much from that statement.
Sure. All right, let's talk NFL now. We got the Super Bowl coming up. Chiefs and Eagles, and this injury was not deemed day to day when it happened. Brandon Graham for the Eagles tore his triceps back in late November. It was ruled a season-ending injury at the time, but now this is expected to be his last season in the NFL. It's the Super Bowl coming up. There's I guess a chance that he might play. I mean, how surprised would you be to come back from a torn triceps to be able to play whatever it is 2-3 months later?
Yeah, I mean, standard treatment for a triceps repair, which my understanding is he did have surgery. It's not a case of him just sort of putting it off, playing through it, and then getting it fixed afterwards. But standard recovery is certainly longer than this. So, you or I would be out of heavy lifting, working out, any sort of physical, God forbid, football for at least probably 4 to 6 months after a tricep repair. So I must think that this is either a case where it was a pretty small tear and they're very happy that they got a nice, strong repair, or it's just, such high stakes and high importance event that they've kind of decided, hey, if you mess it up again, we'll just fix it up again afterward, but let's take the risk kind of thing.
Could be his last game that he ever gets to suit up for, so, why not give it a go? Let's go to the NBA, and Luka Doncic has been out since Christmas Day when he suffered an injury, a calf strain, something that he's struggled with throughout his career. Is this normal, Dr. Todd, for an athlete to have like the same muscle strain repeatedly? Is that once you kind of strain a calf muscle like that, will you continue to have problems with it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the normal expectation, but it's not uncommon. Some of these bigger muscle groups, hamstring, quads, calf, you get these strains which are essentially microscopic sort of tears, and sometimes they are just in a location or they heal with some scar tissue that they just sort of remain prone to re-aggravating them. It's particularly common in hamstrings as well, and it's frustrating because there's nothing you can really do. It's not a surgical issue where you can go in and sew the muscle, the red meat, raw hamburger back together. So yeah, when it kind of becomes a pattern like this, it's very discouraging. And there's some special things with therapy and injections and stuff that you can try, but it is a not uncommon occurrence with some of those muscle groups. So
it is possible that this could be like a long-term thing for him, that he may just have issues with this calf for the rest of his career?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's usually not a debilitating career ender, but sometimes some of these players sort of, they get back and they're feeling okay, but they sort of aggravate it or strain it again more easily than they would have. So they tend to have more frequent flare-ups, basically.
All right, let's go to something we don't talk about all that often. X Games Aspen just wrapped up, and there was one notable athlete there who wasn't able to finish the games this year. Former Olympic gold medal skier Eileen Gu had to miss a couple of events. She suffered a fall in practice. She won the gold last year with a hip injury, but admitted that this year she had to pull out due to an illness. She had bruising that left her unable to walk, and the mental toll of the injury also contributed to this. So first of all, how serious would bruising have to be that it would prohibit her from walking? Can you have bruising that is that bad?
Depending on location, you could. If for instance, if she had fallen right on her hip, for instance, and I don't actually know where this bruising was. I know her injury last year was a hip, but something called like a hip pointer. If any of us have ever played contact sports, that's sort of a bruise directly over your pelvic bone, and they can be extraordinarily painful. It makes it hard to even lift your legs. So it wouldn't be anything dangerous from a medical standpoint, but it could certainly be aggravating or debilitating enough that it affects her ability to perform.
And I guess, secondly, the follow-up question, does fighting an illness impact the body's ability to heal from an injury at all? Because she said that she wasn't feeling well, that she had an illness in addition to the bruising. Would that slow your recovery if your immune system is battling something?
Yeah, the same immune and inflammatory system that fights illness and viruses and flus is what it takes to fight injury and repair damaged tissue. So if your body's resources are being spent fighting other things, or you're feeling bad enough that you're not really, getting good nutrition or anything, all those things will definitely slow down your healing process.
All right, Doctor. Great stuff as always. Very insightful. We love having you on. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we look forward to doing the SOS House Call again next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
All right, you as well. Dr. Todd Battaglia joining us here. And